King and Queen Consort depart the Palace of Westminster to return to Clarence House. The heralds, Noran Ulster, King of Arms, read the proclamation at Hillsborough Castle. Lord Lyon, the sole King of Arms in Scotland, who read the proclamation at the Merchant Cross in Edinburgh, and Clarence Hill, King of Arms, who read the proclamation at the Royal Exchange in the City of London after the principal proclamation on Saturday. Choristers from the Chapel Royal and the Choir of Westminster Abbey. The Chapel Royal choristers in red and gold. And the men of the Chapel Royal wearing those distinctive white bow ties. The choristers now return to the choir school at Westminster Abbey, where they will prepare for their role in Monday's funeral. The anthem they sang, by the way, by Edward Bairstow, "Jesu, the very thought of thee." Bairstow, a great Yorkshireman, born in Huddersfield, organist of York Minster for more than 3 decades until his death in 1946. This hall, 900 years old, more than 900 years. The largest hall in England, probably the largest hall in Europe when it was built under the instructions of William II, the son of William the Conqueror, in 1097. And ever since then, part of our national story. A place where feasts and banquets, court masques, jousting tournaments took place. A market hall for 500 years from the 13th century. The diarist parliamentarian Samuel Pepys used to purchase books, gloves, and caps from one of its stalls. William Gladstone, the first person to lie in state here in 1898. 1965, Winston Churchill rested here. Edward VII in 1910, George V in 1936, George VI in 1952. And Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, rested here for 3 days before her funeral in April 2002. Nagrod, Sarah Clark. Leading the slow parade past the coffin. Prime Minister and Leader of the Opposition emerged into the sunlight, walking through the thick sand carefully laid outside this building to enable the gun carriage to come to a perfect halt, where betide anyone who stepped upon it before the arrival of Her late Majesty. A team of men with rakes to ensure it was perfectly presented. As the parliamentarians leave, they pass the fountain that was placed here in honour of Her late Majesty's Silver Jubilee in 1977. Moment in Westminster Hall. The building will be closed for approximately an hour, and then the first members of the public, many of whom have been queuing already for several nights, will be allowed in to file past the coffin. Last night, Her Majesty rested at Buckingham Palace, her last night in the residence that she knew throughout her 96 years. Focus of private family grief. But that now changes to public grief, as her subjects have the chance to pay their respects. Thought as many as 750,000 people may pass through here between now and the state funeral on Monday. Some of the people that we're seeing coming in now have been queuing for 2 nights, waiting to ensure their place very front of the line of those anxious to spend a moment walking around the coffin. I never know what this means to each and every person here. Respect for the monarch. Perhaps also transference of personal grief. And a deep sympathy for the monarch's children. That shared experience of losing parents that many of us will know. Some people have just made a short journey to be here from London and its suburbs. Others have travelled much further. I've heard accounts of people who have made long international flights in order to be here. One person saying that they'd known Her Majesty the Queen, that she'd been part of their life for all their life, that they wanted to come here to pay final respects and end what they considered their shared story. So from now until Monday morning, the people will come here, will file past the bier with Her Majesty's coffin resting on top. BBC is launching a live stream of the lying in state for people who are unable to be here and want to pay their respects virtually. It's available now on the BBC homepage, on the BBC News website and app, the iPlayer, the red button, and also on the BBC Parliament channel. And that live stream will be on air all the time that members of the public are allowed into Westminster Hall, night and day, as they come to pay their respects to Queen Elizabeth II.
So in the days and nights ahead, many thousands of people from all parts of Britain and the Commonwealth and beyond are expected to take the opportunity to visit Westminster Hall to file past the coffin, an experience surely that none of them will ever forget. We will be at Westminster Abbey on Sunday evening, on the eve of the first state funeral in the United Kingdom since that of Sir Winston Churchill back in 1965. And the final committal will be at St George's Chapel, Windsor, closing one of the most illustrious chapters in the history of the British monarchy. So from all of the BBC team at Buckingham Palace, it's good night.